Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about applications of equations. So this whole time we've been talking about how to solve equations, but when do we use this in real life? So when we use it in real life, a story will usually be behind it. So what we're going to learn is how to solve story problems. We're going to write our own equation and then solve. So the way I want you guys to work on these is a strategy called cubes. Each letter in cubes stands for something that I want you guys to do. So C for circle numbers, U for underline important words, B for box the question, E for evaluate and write your equation, and S for solve and write a sentence. So right below this, there is an example that we're going to do together. It says solve the following problem using the cubes method. So remember, we are circling numbers, underlining important words, and boxing the questions. I'm going to do all of those three strategies while reading the question. It says, Jane made bracelets which she plans to sell at school for $8 each. She has already used $22 on materials and other expenses. How much profit will Jane make if she sells 15 bracelets? So just by reading our question, we already did the first three steps of cubes: circle, underline, and box. Now on to the E part of cubes, which is to write our equation. But before we can write our equation, we need to define our variables. The way you should do this is by looking at your question. What things is it asking you to find? So it's asking about profit, and the profit is going to depend on how many bracelets that you sell. So both of those things are going to be variables that we need. So let's just make it easy and let's do P for profit and B for bracelets. Okay, so if I'm trying to figure out how much profit she's making, I'm going to have P equals. Well, from reading my question, I know that she's selling her bracelets for $8 each. And the word each refers to multiplying. So I'm going to have $8 times each bracelet, 8B. But not all the money that she makes is considered profit. Anything that she uses on materials is not profit. So it says that she used $22 on her materials. So we are going to subtract that from her profit. That is our equation. So that's E. The last step of cubes is S for solve. So it's asking us how much profit will she make if she sells 15 bracelets. So that 15, there's really only two options. Either you can plug it in for P or for B. So you have to read carefully and see where you need to plug it in. Since it's referring to bracelets, we're going to plug it in where the B is at. So instead of B, we're going to write 15 here. Okay, and then just by plugging this into your calculator, you don't have to do any mental math or anything. It should come out to 98. But part of the S is to write a sentence. So I want to answer my question the way I would if I were talking to somebody in conversation. So I know the answer is 98, but what does 98 represent? Well, it represents her profit. So if I'm answering the question, how much profit will Jane make if she sells 15 bracelets? When I put it in a sentence, it should be, Jane will make $98 of profit. If she sells 15 bracelets. So we took all that time solving multi-step problems, but when it comes to the real world, most of these problems are going to be just 2 steps. So it would be here, 8 times 15 is step 1, and then subtract 22 is your step 2. So this was a 2-step problem. But this is how we use equations in real life. This needs to get glued down into your notebook so that you always know what cube stands for, an example of how to use it. The next page of your notebook is going to look like this. There are 4 different word problems where I want to practice using the exact same strategy. So we're going to do 2 of these problems together, and then I'm going to leave 2 of them blank for you guys to work out on your own. So let's look at the top left. It says, to become a member of our local gym, you must pay $10 per month, so pay $10 per month, in addition to a one-time signing fee of $35. Then the question says, how much money will you have paid after being a member for 1 year? Okay, so that's already the first 3 steps, C, U, B, circle, underline, and box. But the next step is to write an equation. So like before, we needed to define what our 2 variables are going to be. So reading the question, how much money will you have paid after being a member for 1 year? I know money is going to have to be one of my variables. The other variable would be your time. So in this question, it's using year, but you have to be very careful because when it describes how much you're paying, it says month. So let's just use month to make it easier. And just as a side note, 1 year equals 12 months. Okay, so let's define our variable. Let's say P for money, because it's how much you're paying, right? So money paid. And then let's use the letter M to mean months. Okay, so if I want to know how much I'm paying, P equals, it says that you pay $10 per month. So that's 10M. In addition, so it has the word addition, so I know I'm going to be plus, to a one-time signing fee of $35. Okay, so that's my equation. So last and final step says to solve and then write a sentence. So if we want to know how long it's been after 1 year, we're going to plug in 12 where the months is at. Which gives us 155. So let's write this as a sentence. How much money will you have paid after being a member for 1 year? You will pay $155 after 1 year of gym membership. So pretty simple, right? Let's do one more example. So let's do top right. It says, John is designing a calendar as a fundraising project. The cost of printing is, so we know is equal sign, $500 plus $250 for each calendar. How many calendars can he print with $775? So CUB, circle, underline, and box, we got that. So before we write our equation, let's define our variables. I think you can tell that we're talking about calendars, so I need something to represent calendars. Let's use C. But what else are we talking about? We're talking about how much money he's going to have to pay for this printing. So let's use P to represent the cost of printing. So for our equation, we'll have cost of printing is, we know the word is equal sign, $500 plus $250 for each calendar, and the word each means multiply, so it'd be $250C. I'm sorry, this first one was supposed to be a P. So printing equals $500 plus $250 for each calendar. So now when I solve, the question is asking how many calendars can he print with $775? So we need to figure out where should we plug it in. There's only 2 options. Either we plug it into P or to C. So C represents calendars, And the question is not saying you have 775 calendars. It's saying you have $775. Dollars would be more of a cost. So that 775 is going to go where the P is at. So our job here is to figure out what C equals. So this is a two-step equation. We could subtract 500 from both sides. So that gets me 275 equals 2.50C. And then we would divide, which gives me C equals 110. But now I need to write this out as a sentence. What does it mean to our story? So our question was asking, how many calendars can he print with $775? Our answer is, John can print 110 calendars with his $775. Okay, so those are our two examples. And I'm going to leave the two at the bottom blank for you guys to work on your own. I will give you the answers though, just so that you know that you're going in the right direction. For this one, your answer should be 16,000. And for the taxi one, your answer should be 64. So you need to show me the work where you get to that answer, and also you need to write a sentence so that I know that you understand what that number means. Okay guys, this is all for today. If you have any questions, please email me or let me know in class, and I will talk to you soon.